It's been proven that if you have a bunch of marketing leads that you've generated that have not purchased off your initial offer, whatever that offer was, if you nurture those leads over time, you're going to see a spike in sales long term. Hey everyone, welcome to Ontraport Use Cases. My name is Sam, and today we're going to be talking about how to nurture your leads to stay top of mind and make the sale. So what we're essentially talking about here is building relationships with your leads at any stage of the sales funnel by means of targeted marketing to increase the likelihood of a sale down the road. So one keyword I want to add to this is automated. The whole point of Ontraport and of lead nurturing is to automate this process with effective, proven strategies to generate sales in the long term, okay? So why would you want to do something like this? The first reason is to stay top of mind with your leads. The second reason is to increase sales by 20% or more. It's been proven that if you have a bunch of marketing leads that you've generated that have not purchased off your initial offer, whatever that offer was, if you nurture those leads over time, you're going to see a spike in sales long term, okay? And then three, free up marketing resources. So again, the key word here is automation, right? Sure, we can take our bucket of leads that we think might not be any good anymore or older and send them manual emails every week. But why not just automate this process and hit them earlier in their lead cycle, right? The problem with just doing blast emails to an entire list is some of those leads might be 7 months old, some of those leads might have only been a week old, and the way you would communicate with those people is different. So setting up autoresponders that are automated is a much better way to do this. Okay, so there's a million ways to nurture leads and to follow up with leads using a tool like Ontraport. And the trick is to figure out what's most effective for you and your business, right? We have a couple examples here and they're pretty different, but the key I want to get across is that you have to generate leads, right? That's marketing. This is something that I'm sure we all know, and if you don't know, we got videos about how to do this. But you need to generate leads, and then you need to nurture those leads towards a sale. If all you do is generate leads and you have a big contact database, but none of them are purchasing, that's not any good to you. So this is the crucial second step in this process, okay? All right, so let's take some examples. The first example we have here is of targeted content, right? So this is all about getting specific content to the people who are interested in that content and trying to nurture them towards a sale. So let's say you generate a new lead, however you're generating leads. Maybe you're offering an ebook or a report, maybe you have a consultation, something like that. For this example, let's pretend that we have a music membership site. This is an example I've used in other use cases before. So let's pretend we teach people how to play instruments on a membership site on the internet. So maybe new leads get a welcome email, and what we're asking them to do is to fill out a lead survey. We say, hey, thank you so much for opting into our newsletter or whatever it is. If you don't mind, could you please fill out a quick survey just so I can get you better content down the road that you're actually interested in and not just be another spam in your email, right? So we send them to a lead survey on an Ontra page with an Ontra form. Obviously, all of this stuff you can do in Ontraport, right? And we asked them a couple questions, and one of the crucial questions would be, hey, what instrument are you interested in? Like what interest or what style of music interests you most, right? And then you have options. You have a drop-down field, something like that. And let's say it's guitar, drums, or bass. And they choose one of these three options. We can then have targeted nurturing to that person based on what instrument they're most interested in. So let's say they choose guitar. We can have a content funnel, a lead nurturing content funnel, all about guitar. Little tips and tricks, what strings to use, how to tune your guitar differently depending on what kind of music you're into, things like that. Interesting content that might actually push them towards a sale, might actually get them to think, hey, you know what? This might be a good place for me to learn how to play guitar. That's the name of the game here, right? Targeted content. And then hopefully, obviously, ideally, we end up with a purchase, okay? So that's one example. Second example here we have is something like a flash sale. So a lot of the time, as consumers, I know I do this, I'm sure you do as well, you shop around for something online, you do have interest in whatever the product is, you maybe opt in for some information about it, but then you kind of forget about it, or something else comes up, or you decide you don't need it right now, things like that, right? An example of this real world right now is I've been shopping for a bookshelf, and I can't decide on which one I want, and I'm not really happy with any of the decisions, and there's one I kind of like, but it's a little expensive. But I tell you what would work is if IKEA just emailed me tomorrow and said, hey, 30% off that bookshelf that you're interested in, I would probably buy it, right? So that's sort of the idea here. So you have your leads, and what happens sort of off this map is you have whatever your new lead process is, and we've got use cases on this, so if you want to know what that might look like. But this is sort of like post new lead process. You've got leads sitting around that you want to stimulate with a flash sale. Okay, you have three ways you can do this as far as communication goes. You've got a postcard option, email, or SMS. I know SMS is really popular with clothes and stuff right now. My phone will light up sometimes and say, hey, 33% off at this store. And that's kind of an interesting way to do it. But the most traditional way is with an email. But either way, you hit them up and you say, hey, I've got a big sale going on, 50% off the whole store. And then you try to drive those leads to a sales page and an order form and hope for some purchases. You might be surprised. That might just be all it takes to generate some additional revenue out of a list of leads that you might have thought was no good anymore. So give it a shot. You will probably be surprised. Okay, so those are just two examples of the nearly infinite ways you can nurture leads going forward. I encourage you to do some research and figure out what you think might work best for you. For us here at Ontraport, it's education on entrepreneurial topics just like this. It's content, it's ebooks, it's webinars, it's all that kind of stuff. But for your business, it might be different, So do your research, figure out what works, and then put it into action. And the key here is to automate the whole thing. You don't want to be sending manual emails to your list or your lead list every so often, writing up a new email, sending it out. It's time to grow up. It's the 21st century. We can automate this stuff, right? So automate it, do yourself a favor. Please read on. We got tons more information. I know that the lead nurturing is a big topic, so I encourage you to read on and get some more inspiration or ideas on how you might do this in your business. And check out the other videos if you're interested sort of about the new lead part of this or the purchase part of this. We got use cases on just that stuff, so you can kind of consider this as the middle part of that series. Okay, that'll do it. We'll see you next time.